Mid-America Industrial Park's Living Grand on Grand Lake is made possible by
Hi, my name is Jeremy Culver. I am the Vice President of Ray Corporation, located here in the Mid-American Industrial Park. From the farm kid growing up on a farm in Gage, Oklahoma, never would imagine myself sitting here today. 12 years ago, when I first got out of school and was looking to enter the workforce, when I thought of industrial, I thought of probably like most people, that just a dirty workplace. You know, after being in the industry for, I guess, going on 15 years now, I've learned that it's anything but that. There's all kinds of opportunities. It's exciting. Talking to high school kids who are trying to decide what they want to do when they first got out of high school, I would encourage you to come out here in the industrial park. One, you're going to have an opportunity not only to make more money, but you're going to have the opportunity to have a career. It's been a great opportunity for me and my family. The Mid-American Industrial Park is creating careers and changing lives.
also by
Electricity makes our everyday lives more convenient. We all know it costs more to fill your gas tank, buy prescriptions, and even go to the doctor. In the last decade, gasoline costs rose 11% every year. A dozen eggs increased in cost nearly 8%. Your electricity? It only rose on average less than 5% each year. Your local electric cooperative works hard to keep your electric service safe, affordable, and reliable. Discover the power of your co-op membership.
And by
After finishing high school, I immediately got married and started my family. Without a college degree, I found that pretty quickly my options were limited. When I started looking around for a college program for working adults, I quickly found that Rogers State was a great fit. They worked with me to get financial aid, offered classes that fit my busy schedule, and gave me personalized attention that I couldn't get at a larger school. Rogers State definitely started me on my professional career.
as well as by
The Grand River Dam Authority is Oklahoma's state-owned electric utility, fully funded by revenues from electric and water sales instead of taxes. GRDA Electricity touches 75 of 77 counties in the state and serves as an economic development engine for all of Oklahoma. At no cost to taxpayers, GRDA also manages 70,000 surface acres of lakes, including Grand Lake, Lake Hudson, and the W.R. Hallway Reservoir. Annually, the efforts of Team GRDA facilitate over $450 million in economic activity in Oklahoma.
and by viewers and members like you.
Coming up on Mid-America Industrial Park's Living Grand on Grand Lake, we're going to go catch the big one. We're going to wet a hook and take you spoonbill fishing. And we're going to talk to a musical legend who was once on Hee Haw. Then for some of the best baby back ribs in town, it's all about shebang. All this coming up on Mid-America Industrial Park's Living Grand on Grand Lake.
This is Living Grand on Grand Lake!
This is Living Grand
on Grand Lake.
This is Living Grand on Grand Lake.
Welcome to Mid-America Industrial Park's Living Grand on Grand Lake. I'm Royal Ailes, in for Christy Wallace, our show host. She's still out on assignment. She'll be back in a couple of weeks. Well, everyone knows that Grand Lake is big business, and that means big fish. In fact, the big boys, the Bassmaster Classic, they're coming back in a couple of years, and those anglers will be out there catching those lunker bass. But there are still some big fish to catch on this lake, such as spoonbill. To do that, you need a guide, and Zach's Guide Service takes people out to catch those big prehistoric fish all the time. In fact, man, you need to go out there and take a look.
The only way to catch them is snag them. You're going to have to hit them somewhere in the side or the tail if you really want a good fight. Hopefully you hit them in the tail and they'll stretch your arms for you. I've been coming over this lake for the past 20 years. A guy named Hank Souders had a guide service on Grand Lake for years. And we got to know each other and I ended up buying a lot of the stuff from him and he taught me how to do it and how to find them and where to find them. We start down south from the December 1st, putting in around the city ramp there in Grove, Oklahoma, and as the year progresses on and the winter comes into the spring months, we'll start coming up here to the north end of the lake there at Twin Bridges State Park and start snagging from there all the way up to Miami, Oklahoma. It's just a great place to bring the family and enjoy the fishing. There's so much different species to fish for. It holds big fish for the size of the lake it is, and it's just a great place to be. I would say the best part of hiring the guide is they've already done the legwork for you. So as far as finding the fish, staying on top of them, having all the gear, the right amount of weight to put on the weight or the line to get the hook down there and troll the right speed. You know, they've already done the legwork, so all you got to do is just climb in the boat and enjoy a heck of a day, because you're going to break a sweat ripping these things in. People enjoy the paddle fishing for the fight. To hook onto a fish of these size and these strength, you're going to have to go into the salt water. And you know, we have some of the most hardest fighting fish around right here in the middle central of the United States. They dated them back to the prehistoric time, and you know, they don't eat nothing, they don't bite on necessarily a bait. They use their paddle. They've got some sensors in the end of it to find as a radar for some microscopic zooplankton, and they just kind of filter feed. We're idling over these fish with our sonar, you know, by the bigger the arch with the more the yellow color in it, the bigger the fish. And that kind of distinguish on maybe how big it is or what way we're going with it. You know, we have our split screen on our map and our sonar. That way we can see that we're going to stay right in the river channel, because them fish congregate on the edges. And how we do it, we use a 12-aught barbless hook, because barbed hooks are against the law here in the state of Oklahoma. That way, if you catch and release, it does not tear the fish up, you know, like it would if you was to just catch and release with a barbed hook. Usually when we're out, we average a pretty solid 30-pound average on a 5-hour trip. You know, like we went out Saturday and we had a 50-pounder at the biggest and 4 other fish over 40 pounds. And the biggest one I've had come over my boat was in the upper 80s, and it was a pretty good deal because she had trouble just holding onto the rod. The fish was hooked in the tail, and there was nothing but screaming and help, 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 but nobody, you know, we just like to let them fight it on their own and go that way with it. And hopefully they don't lose a rod, but if they do, they do. That's part of it. What makes the paddlefish so famous, especially to the state of Oklahoma, is they are in high demand for the spoonbill caviar, which is the eggs. And the research center up in Miami, Oklahoma, they have the research boats out, and you know, if you have a fish and you got it tagged and you plan on keeping it, and you can tie it off the side of the boat, collection boats will come around. You just wave them down and they'll come pick your fish up for you and take it to the research center. And when you get done fishing for the day, you just drive up there, give them your little tag and your initials, and they give you your fillets right there and have ice for you. It's really a nice amenity to have, to where you don't have to get your hands dirty and they'll do all the work for you. I enjoy taking people out for the reasoning of, you know, most of the time these are the fish they catch with me may be the biggest fish they've ever caught to date. And seeing the excitement on their face when that big 50 or 60-pound spoonbill comes up to the top and just stretches the line on them and bends the rod over and dang near pulls them in the water.
Wasn't that a great way to wet a hook and spend a Saturday on the lake? Man, if you try that, you're going to have one heck of a fish story to tell all your friends and family all summer long here on Grand Lake. Now, when we return, we're going to talk to a musical legend who has a home here on Grand Lake. But before we do, here's some fun in the sun.
Hi, this is Yvonne Coates at Chezzy's in Disney, and this is Living Grand on Grand Lake.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Culver. I am the Vice President of Ray Corporation, located here in the Mid-American Industrial Park. From the farm kid growing up on a farm in Gage, Oklahoma, never would imagine myself sitting here today. 12 years ago, when I first got out of school and was looking to enter the workforce, when I thought of industrial, I thought of probably like most people, that just a dirty workplace. You know, after being in the industry for, I guess, going on 15 years now, I've learned that it's anything but that. There's all kinds of opportunities. It's exciting. And talking to high school kids who are trying to decide what they want to do when they first got out of high school, I would encourage you to come out here in the industrial park. One, you're going to have an opportunity not only to make more money, but you're going to have the opportunity to have a career. It's been a great opportunity for me and my family. The Mid-American Industrial Park is creating careers and changing lives.
Today I want to talk about the importance of knowing our waters and safely navigating the lakes. One of the first things we need is the proper depth finder on our boat. By using the depth finder, we can find when the water is going to get shallow or become hazardous and navigate around those. The next thing we need to do is to buy the proper maps for the lake that we're on or the waterways that we're using. Here's an example of the Grand Chart book. It shows a lot of history of the lake, the hazardous areas, and many things that we can learn about the waterways that we're on. Another example, this one's designed for fishing and it shows the contours, but yet shows the hazards and many things about the lake that we can use. Another tip is using locators such as Lowrance or Humminbird, Garmin, some of the locators that are out there that actually have GPS and can navigate the waters for us, show us safe ways to navigate the lake. All these things can be found at your local convenience stores, sporting goods stores, and even Walmart. So learn our lakes and be safe.
Time for the Grand Lake Chronicles events page. Here's what's happening on and around Grand Lake. One of the biggest events in the Grand Lake area for rock enthusiasts is Rocklahoma. The planned lineup for artists is sure to please everyone. Mark your calendar for this huge Grand Lake event, May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. For more information, call 918-824-2288. On June 5th, it's also time for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw Nationals, which will take place near Grand Lake. For more information, Owata County Fairground. This monster truck show is a wonderful family event, and for more information, call 417-887-9400. It's also time. Welcome back to Mid-America Industrial Park's Living Grand on Grand Lake. We're coming to you from Southwind Marina, here along the shores of Grand Lake in the lovely town of Bernice. Well, our next guest, everyone's going to know who she is, because if you grew up watching Hee Haw, then you know who Jana J is. She makes her home here on Grand Lake. We recently sat down with her to talk about her life in music and how she got her start on the world-famous show, Hee Haw.
I started at age 2.5 with a little 8th size violin in my hand. And I was so tiny, I had to hold the violin, the little tiny violin here. I couldn't get out to the fingerboard. My parents went to Juilliard School of Music in New York City. And then about a few years later, we moved out to Idaho and lived with my grandparents. And then I was introduced to all my granddaddy's old-time fiddle tunes. He really made it fun, and they would jam every night. Grandmother at the piano, granddaddy, you know, playing the fiddle in the big kitchen with the linoleum floor, you know, so we had lots of dance area. I learned how to do all those dances. You know, the polka, the schottisch, the varsuviana, put your little foot. It made music, that kind of music, learning by ear, very meaningful. And so I had both styles, classical. I studied classically and enjoyed playing by ear. And I kept studying, studied with a lady from Juilliard, studied, of course, with my mom, got scholarships to Interlochen and to International String Congress, and kept pursuing that, and as college scholarships, and eventually studied at the Vienna Academy of Music. But it was always Granddaddy's fiddle tunes that delighted the audience. My dad, who was straight classical, you know, I mean, when they wanted me to play a blue fiddle on Hee Haw, I was pretty horrified because I was a purist. Here's this good Italian 1750 Pinoli violin, and they wanted me to play a blue fiddle. But I did because that was, you know, my job, and it became a trademark. But my dad was even more of a purist, you know. And so he wasn't too much in favor of the fiddle tunes and fiddling. And then I got on Hee Haw. I said, well, Dad, just play one little fiddle tune with me. And I wrote out Boil the Cabbage, and he played it like Mozart. You know, he played sort of that way. I said, no, you got to get into it. When Buck hired me, there were no girl instrumentalists in country bands. They were all girl singers. So Buck broke the mold when he hired a girl fiddle player, but he thought it would be novel after Buck Rich died, and he liked my playing and was very innovative anyway. So yeah, that was a big breakthrough. We had an absolutely marvelous time. Hee Haw was so much fun. You know, Gaylord Sartain and all the folks were just there to have a good time. So, you know, before the cameras rolled, there'd be a joke or a noise or something that made everybody laugh, and it was like one big happy family. But when Buck hired me, you know, we went directly to Las Vegas. I did a big long audition, and then I stayed in a hotel for a week waiting for this audition, and had every single Buck tune down in my head, because I was just Jack McFadden said, don't leave the hotel room, don't go shopping, don't eat out, stay there, we'll call you. So he did call after about a week, and he said, Janet, I'll be there in 10 minutes. No rush, but pack all your things up, I'll get you in 10 minutes. I got my things together, had a big long audition, and they said, we're going to Vegas. I was like shell-shocked the first show. I mean, a huge show, fast moving, start, diggy liggy lie, fiddle kickoff, and it just took one show, and I got it. I mean, I had to get it. But I was so grateful for all the preparation because I was able to do it. But when they said they were going to induct me into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame, I was just, I mean, it's an awesome feeling. You're really in tall cotton, you know, and it's such an honor. So, and now the National Fiddler Hall of Fame, the same year, that's coming up May 28th. And so it's really a wonderful feeling to be lauded by your peers, but just that honor, you know, of being in this group of top echelon people is just really, really an honor. They were taking my house in Tulsa, widening 71st Street and going to take my house, so I was looking for places, and this realtor kept showing me this house way up here, and I thought, it's too big, too far out of Tulsa. My kids were going to college, and I thought, I don't need a place like this, but I loved it. I loved the nature. And then they kept offering it to me for a better price and a better price, and so I got it. Of course, when I moved in here for even a short time, I fell in love with it. And the community is awesome. And so instead of a retreat, it has kind of turned tables on me, and I got very involved with the community, and it's something that I want to do. And when I see people connect with music, it's a gift of a lifetime.
In February, Janet was inducted into the Oklahoma Music Hall of Fame, and in May, she's inducted into the National Fiddlers Hall of Fame. Great job, Janet. Congratulations. A job well done with a great career. Now, when we come back, we're going to do the whole shebang. But first, here's some fun in the sun.
Hi, Brent Howard, Howard Classic Boats. This is Living Grand on Grand Lake.
The Grand River Dam Authority is Oklahoma's state-owned electric utility, fully funded by revenues from electric and water sales instead of taxes. GRDA Electricity touches 75 of 77 counties in the state and serves as an economic development engine for all of Oklahoma. At no cost to taxpayers, GRDA also manages 70,000 surface acres of lakes, including Grand Lake, Lake Hudson, and the W.R. Hallway Reservoir. Annually, the efforts of Team GRDA facilitate over $450 million in economic activity in Oklahoma.
You two look happy? Is there anything else I can get for you? Okay.
Cherokee Casino and Hotel, West Siloam Springs. The feeling stays with you.
Welcome back to Mid-America Industrial Parks, living grand on Grand Lake. Every day of the week, Grand Lakers and visitors can visit the Shebangs restaurant on Monkey Island. Known for their baby back ribs, Joyce Duke has created a spot on the water that promises a lot of fun, food, and just a wee bit of foolishness. Take a look.
It's God's country. I can't tell you how many people have tried to leave here and they can't leave. They have to come back. They love Monkey Island in Grand Lake. My husband and I were both school teachers. I taught math and science, and my husband was a high school coach and driver's ed and history teacher.
Joyce and Larry Duke have been icons around Grand Lake for 30 years. My connection to Joyce Duke is that she was my 5th grade teacher, and we were her last 5th grade class in like 84, 85 before she opened the Shebangs.
We'd never even heard of Grand Lake. And a friend of ours told us if we wanted to rent the boat, we should go to Grand Lake. So we came up here and we were just amazed. And of course, when we got to Shangri-La, we were like, this is unbelievable. So we thought, how could we get a part of this? So we convinced Mr. Davis that he needed ski boats. And we convinced Mr. Davis that he needed recreation directors for the kids, something to do for the kids. So we came up for a summer job, loved it, fell in love. I had to go back and teach because we'd already signed our contracts, and came back the next year and have been here ever since. That's been since, I think we came in 70, 71. First built the Den of Antiquity, and we sold antiques. And everybody that came through, you know, said, oh, my grandma used to have one of these. I gave it away. I thought if I could just sell an ice cream cone or a Coke, something, I'll decorate this place and they can come through and look at it and drink a Coke and say, my grandma used to have this and I gave it away. So we built the Shebang and we furnished it with all the antiques first off, and tried to sell the antiques and the ice cream and the sandwiches and the pizza, and then we've evolved from there.
Shangri-La went through a rough time at one point, and that's really all that was out there was Shangri-La and the Shebang and Big Shots and the Den of Iniquity. And Joyce and Larry kept that island alive because there really was, for a long time, nothing else out there. So until Shangri-La really just got under new ownership and became something more, and the golf course is amazing now, they really floated Monkey Island and what it was, and they kept the Vista Towers alive. They kept a lot alive.
We started off with the vaudeville room. That's a family dining and drinking room. And then we go into the burlesque room, which means nothing like what you think burlesque. It means adult dining and drinking. The backstage room is for private dining or reservations. And then we built the outside patio, the upstairs balcony bar that we do karaoke on.
She makes it fun. She's probably one of the most creative people I've ever met. She used to do this Egret Queen contest. I was her Egret Queen in 2008, but she makes you want to have fun, and then she makes you do it.
I designed the menu. We have what you call the whole shebang. So we have everything from pizza to cheeseburgers to lobster, steak and tail, pork chops, ribs, pasta, chicken dishes. We truly have the whole shebang here. But the chefs that we've had in the kitchen throughout the years, we've just evolved, and right now we've got people in the kitchen that just do a beautiful, beautiful job.
That keeps Georgia Georgia on the line. I'm talking about that Georgia.
Really, to come to work, it's like a party breaks out every night. You never know what's going to happen. It's expect the unexpected. It's just a great time here. It's the people that make the party.
Everyone always has a good time at Shebang's, and the Duke's commitment to Grand Lake is legendary. Over the years, they have raised thousands of dollars for local charities. Now, if you want to stay connected to Grand Lake and to this show, all you have to do is go to rsu.tv or go to our YouTube channel and look for RSU TV. Well, that's it for this edition of Mid-America Industrial Parks Living Grand on Grand Lake. I'm Royal Ailes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Mid-America's Industrial Parks Living Grand on Grand Lake is made possible by
Hi, my name is Jeremy Colbert. I am the Vice President of Ray Corporation, located here in the Mid-American Industrial Park. From the farm kid growing up on a farm in Gage, Oklahoma, never would imagine myself sitting here today. 12 years ago, when I first got out of school and was looking to enter the workforce, when I thought of industrial, I thought of probably like most people, that just a dirty workplace. You know, after being in the industry for, I guess, going on 15 years now, I've learned that it's anything but that. There's all kinds of opportunities. It's exciting. Talking to high school kids who are trying to decide what they want to do when they first got out of high school, I would encourage you to come out here in the industrial park. One, you're going to have an opportunity not only to make more money, but you're going to have the opportunity to have a career. It's been a great opportunity for me and my family. The Mid-American Industrial Park is creating careers and changing lives.
Also by
After finishing high school, I immediately got married and started my family. Without a college degree, I found that pretty quickly my options were limited. When I started looking around for a college program for working adults, I quickly found that Rogers State was a great fit. They worked with me to get financial aid, offered classes that fit my busy schedule, and gave me personalized attention that I couldn't get at a larger school. Rogers State definitely started me on my professional career.
Plus by
Grand River Dam Authority is Oklahoma's state-owned electric utility, fully funded by revenues from electric and water sales instead of taxes. GRDA Electricity touches 75 of 77 counties in the state and serves as an economic development engine for all of Oklahoma. At no cost to taxpayers, GRDA also manages 70,000 surface acres of lakes, including Grand Lake, Lake Hudson, and the W.R. Hallway Reservoir. Annually, the efforts of Team GRDA facilitate over $450 million in economic activity in Oklahoma.
And by viewers and members like you.